Speaking of surprises, the Washington football team announced yesterday that they released Dwayne Haskins. What are your thoughts on Dwayne Haskins getting released?
You know what? After what he did and going through everything this year, I get it. Like, look, you're a kid who has a great opportunity, but this is going back to the whole NFL quarterbacks and Ohio State thing too. Like, Ohio State hasn't produced a lot of good NFL quarterbacks for the last few years. Like, look at him and Cardale Jones. One's in the XFL and one's careers in very grim jeopardy. I think Dwayne Haskins will get a chance next year as a backup somewhere. Some team will pick him up. He'll probably have to prove it. But for him to go and do something as selfish as this, yeah, look, I understand. This is a normal season. He's at a strip club after a game, win or lose. I get it. But the fact that you have a pandemic going on, your coach is just getting over cancer, which means, guess what? He's higher risk to get COVID. It's very selfish. It's not team first. This is a year where, you know what, team first comes. I agree 100% with the Washington football team doing this because if you keep him on, it's just adding to the bad name of the franchise because, honestly, Gant Snyder is one of the worst owners in the NFL. I just give props to Washington for turning things in the right direction. And the only question for them going forward is who's their starter next year? I love the Alex Smith story, comeback player of the year, 100% would get my vote if I had an AP vote. But going into next year, are you really going to rely on potentially him either retiring and Taylor Heineke as your starter? No. So it may work for now, but you need to find an answer long term. That's a good quarterback. So we'll see what happens with Washington. But as for the Haskins situation goes, you know what? Sometimes you got to get knocked to rock bottom to learn how to get it back up. Now you're at rock bottom, kid. You got to work your way back into the league, and you're going to have to prove a lot of people wrong. Because for right now, people don't only think that you're selfish, but they know that you're not the best quarterback.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Washington releasing him. I think it should have been done. I thought he should have been suspended prior to this past week's game. The fact that you go to a strip club, you're spotted there, no mask on, after just a couple of hours after a loss where you played absolutely horrible. And if it was Alex Smith playing that game, they probably would have won. Like you said, Ron Vera had cancer. He's more high risk to get the coronavirus. Not just him. It's the other players in general. And you look at a quarterback. The quarterback's supposed to lead your team, be your team captain. That is clearly not what Haskins did. He was a team captain, but he's no longer one. And I agree with their decision. It needed to be done. Really proves how ignorant and not team first Haskins is, and very disappointed with him. And I think we'll get another shot. To me, I think a potential spot would be the Steelers, with not knowing how many more years Roethlisberger has left. But I think it should have been done. I know lots of people may not agree with it, but it was the right thing to do. I've also seen people maybe they could have traded something for him. If Leonard Fournette had Leonard Fournette had a great season last season, and the Jaguars couldn't find a trade suitor this season, despite having a really good year last season, and they couldn't trade him because nobody wanted him, who's going to want Dwayne Haskins, who's played absolutely horrible, is a cancer to a locker room, and just did a really stupid mistake, and it's proven that he's not a team player. He only cares about himself. I thought it was great by Washington to release him.